Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today it's another match play here. It's going to be Grady Thomas on the left playing Magnezone, and myself on the right playing the Arcanine deck that just won a tournament over in the UK on the U150 page. Now the guys who started this, they do monthly tournaments and they post winning deck lists and all that fun stuff. So we thought it was an idea to say, hey, what if we played the best deck in format up against the winning Arcanine list? Now, I'll go ahead and tell you right now, it wasn't close. The end of the video is going to be a lot of it. It's close in the beginning, and then after that, it gets a little out of control really quickly. It is our belief that some of those lists that we see on that page are not built optimally, and can lose to a lot of things. Like a lot of experienced players will win purely because of how the deck is built. We think of ourselves as two good U150 players, so we would say, hey, we have an optimally built Magnezone list, probably best deck, versus a suboptimally built Arcanine list, and two players being of the same, quote-unquote, same skill level. What does that matchup look like? I think that's one of the things we wanted to prove by doing this. I'm probably going to do another little video series here called How to Improve a List, and I think that's going to be a great sort of learning tool for a lot of players. Basically, I'm going to take a list and look at it and say, hey, I don't want to destroy the exact same concept of it, right? I don't want to destroy the concept of Arcanine, because we actually think Arcanine's actually a pretty good deck. There's a lot of cool synergy between them. It's just a suboptimally built list versus a optimally built list. I think that's what we're kind of trying to prove by doing this. So be on the lookout for that. I'll throw Arcanine. I took it apart recently, but I'll throw it back together. I'll throw the Arcanine deck back together, or I'll just do a video, maybe not like a live video, but just like using Word and PowerPoint to edit the list. If that would be helpful to you guys, let me know. Because also something I could do with that is take viewer suggested lists. The 5 people that watch this channel on the reg, if y'all want to just send me a list, and if you're like, hey, how do I improve this? I might do just a live improvement session. Just like, hey, these are the cards that you're gonna go out and need to buy if you want to be the best of this format, or something like that. I've also been considering doing a budget version of this, which is kind of weird because most of the U150 cards are very budget friendly. Like, all the cards are very inexpensive, save for maybe man, I don't even know. All the cards are pretty cheap. So I mean, there's no real excuse that if you want to be the best in your area at U150, there's no reason to say oh, I'm not going to invest in this, when it really only costs $10-20 to get the necessary staples. And then since you're a Pokemon player, you probably have most of the rest of the stuff anyways. So something to think about, I guess. I also might be doing a black and white on sort of U150 deck, like hey, here's my U150 deck. What do you guys want to see? Here's a U150 deck. How do I make this only black and white on? Because I've only been playing for X number of years, and I want to be better, if that makes sense. So who knows? I'll be doing a lot of theory crafting, I think, in the coming days. But onto the game here. The reason I did this super energy removal play is because I really wanted to hit this blacksmith. Because I really wanted to remove all of his energies right away. I really needed to go aggressive with it, and I think that's the correct line of play. Because this Arcanine is gonna die anyways, right? If I miss blacksmith here, I need to retreat, or I just get he evolves into Magnezone and blows up my regular Arcanine, and I just don't have a lot of ways to deal with that. So that's why I tried really hard for this blacksmith, missed it. So that's why you see the escape rope come down and the pass. So that's why I burned all those cards just so I could um, more efficiently use my Cosmic Power and that sort of thing. If you're paying attention to the game at all. I really wanted to hit that Blacksmith. I think if I hit that Blacksmith there, this game, the mid part of this game might have gone a little bit differently, but who knows? I think this this matchup's just a little bit lopsided. Fire decks in general, I think, rely a little bit too much on Blacksmith. And it's not that, like, recycling a supporter or getting the supporter is super hard. I just think that with your reliance on a one supporter card rather than one Pokemon that has the support of all these supporter cards, for instance, like, so there's a lot of things that can grab and set up Pokemon. There's not a lot of things that can grab and set up supporter or item cards. So having a reliance on that, I think, is just a little bit less effective. It's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like, there are good fire decks out there, and I do want to build an optimally built Arcanine deck that doesn't have so much fluff and so much other stuff and more draw power and that sort of thing. I do want to build a good fire deck, and it might work, but I just think it just gets outclassed by a lot of other things, you know? I think a lot of things are just faster and more efficient than fire can be. I guess maybe the exception would be, like, Inferno Fandango, the Emboar from Black and White. If you can find a way to, like, well, you know, accelerate fire with ease, then maybe, because then you're not so reliant on Blacksmith. But I don't know. I just don't know if there's many basic fire Pokemon that are really gonna do the same trick. You know, like with Lightning, you have all this stuff, all these like tools. You have sniping from Zapdos. You have one-shotting with Pikachu. You have the other Magnezone lines that are just gonna supplemented the first Magnezone. You don't have this reliance on having to play all these stage 1 Pokemon, you know? So that's why I think Magnezone works as like a energy rainer, whereas like Blastoise, yeah, it's considered to be one of the better decks for like starters. I just think it loses to a lot of other things too. And then Fire is the worst of those three, just because there's not a lot of like great attacks. In other news, looking back at this game now, I keep getting distracted with this one, but not a whole lot to talk about. We have a lot of proxies in this deck. That's what those white cards are. It's the cards written out on all the attacks. That's an Arcanine Break. It's a promo card. That's where we didn't have it, but we really wanted to test this out, so we just wrote down the names of the stuff on there. So if you don't know what it is and you're like not listening to me, I don't know. That's Arcanine Break. I took the knockout there on the Lysanders because I wanted to hit 80 and accelerate. The 80 on the Pikachu was it would have been interesting, but kind of awkward because I do 80 and ref sees it down to 50, or even worse, he max potions it. So I figured, hey, might as well take a knockout. I have this cool acceleration. I may be able to do some weird stuff next turn with the other with the Blaine's Arcanine or Blaine's Growlithe down there on the bench. I think this deck also needs the new Arcanine from Sun and Moon, the one that deals 190. That would be pretty rad to just one-shot stuff. I really think it needs that for starters. I guess I'm kind of already theory crafting here. It needs to drop I think it needs to drop the evolution line. I think that's just a little bit too fluffy and weird. And if you're gonna play an evolution line, you need to play like the good Flareon, you know, like the Flareon that has revenge. It's a non-EX and DCE bops them, you know. You just have stuff like that. If you're gonna play the evolution line, you know, sweeping declaration. If you are playing Eevees, you need to have one of the Plasma Leafeon and one of the Plasma Flareon, and then whatever other Eevees you want to play. Like, because legitimately those two are the best Eevees just across the board, right? There are some other Eevees that do cute things, but in U150 you want to be efficient, not cute. And you know, look at I saved the 2 energies down on this Growlithe by playing 1 energy and a Muscle Band to get a knockout. Like, holy crap, that's so good. There's no other Eevee that like realistically lets you do that for a fire energy. I mean, yeah, there's the Jolteon that does it for 60. But there's other uses for Leafeon too, not just besides that. So, anyways, getting sidetracked again. I really enjoy U150. I just wrote an article this week. It's going to be going on Poke Beach sometime soon. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to Poke Beach and stuff so I can get paid. They're great. And I really, like, the entire time I was writing it, I was just like, man, Standard sucks. Like, here I am, like, supposedly I'm supposed to be prepping for Worlds, and I have, like, nothing built and nothing ready to go. And instead, I'm just sitting over here like, oh man, I hope people at Worlds can play U150, or oh man, I hope I get off work early on Friday so I can go to the midnight pre-release and play some U150 there. You know, I keep finding myself thinking about that instead of Worlds. So, it's legit. Like, please tell your friends and all your friends' friends about this format. It's super fun. We got a lot of decks built right now, and tell you people about this channel so that people can learn. I really don't care about viewers. I just want people to know about U150. That's kind of what it is. So, I don't know. I'm really excited to start tearing apart Arcanine because I think it does have, you know, there's the Arcanine that does 150 when the one from Evolutions, and if you get to the active that turn, you can drag all your fire energies alongside, which is really nice. I think it needs a lot of, like, EXP share type effects, just because you, like I said, you can't be so reliant on Blacksmith the entire time. I think it needs a lot more consistency. Only having Claydol is really awful. Like, you'll find out here pretty soon. I think he kills my Claydol next turn, or this turn. He kills it soon, and, like, I just fizzle from there. Like, I have no way of getting it back without, like, not getting another attacker out. And that's super bad. And you'll notice, like, you noticed in my last Magnezone video, and that's something that I always fall, this turn, always fall victim to, is when my Claydol dies, I just don't bother setting up, like, the other Porygon, or getting my Claydol back for that matter. I'm just like, yeah, but I'm so far ahead. But in this situation, like, if you don't kill Claydol here, or if you kill Claydol here, I have nothing. And that's the benefit of having the 2-2 Porygon and the 1-1 Claydol line in every deck, is because you can always have two of them out, and if your opponent goes, hey, I'm going to kill that one, you have at least something to fall back on for 1 or 2 turns while you establish the second one. And it's not that you need two, it's just that having 0 is so detrimental. Like, so bad. Like, having 0 draw power on your side of the field, you're just going to lose. Like, period. If you don't play any sort of bench-sitting draw Pokemon, even whether that be like something like Octillery, if that's all you own, like, great, give me Octillery every day, you know what I mean? If only you can't have 0, and 2's fine, and 3 is just overkill, right? Like, you don't need to, but it is recommended just so that they don't ever Lysandre or kill it. I think that's kind of, I hope you get what I'm saying there. Yeah, no, like, and so yeah, like I said, he doesn't actually kill it this turn. He just disconnects for 40, and I can't get to the active. I don't know if he remembers that when he looked that I had no double colorless in the deck, so there's no way I can get this Claydol out after he disconnects. Besides some, like, AZ, but I don't play Porygon, and I didn't have it in my hand. So, that energy removal there was also really big, because, again, I'm relying on my Blacksmith to accelerate these energies, because I can't just, like, go to Arcanine Break and, like, attack. I have to wait a turn, but that's just too long. Like, he's just going to go bananas on me, you know? He's going to disconnect or snipe around me and do a lot of other crazy stuff. And he's just going to straight disconnect, and he showed the Oracle, and he said no. So, like, if I don't get that out of his hand, he's ahead. He's got 2 draw supporters on the 2 ways to draw cards on the bench, or rather to play extra cards, and I'm sitting here with no Claydol, no energy on my Arcanine. Really the only, like, out that I have is, like, attach a fire energy, and I see I can't even Aqua Patch because I got disconnected. And so it's just, man, it's rough. Power Tree, so I can attempt to draw more cards, or so I can draw more cards at the Stevens. Like, Dude, and he's just like, oh, cool, I'll use Power Tree. Like, that's super good. We, after the game, we even talked about, like, wow, actually, we might consider putting this in Magnezone. I don't know if it's necessarily needed in Magnezone. You play Clement and Fisherman, so, like, energy flow is never really a problem. And we don't play energy retrieval or super energy retrieval, so, like, you know, why start now, sort of thing. Yeah, like, it's a good card in certain decks. I don't think I'd ever play it in you know, I think it's good in decks that like require discard from hand effects, but not good in anything else. You know, I don't think Energy Rain needs it. I think Energy Rain decks are fine. They have enough support as is. I don't think it needs Power Tree. I think it's just a little bit underwhelming. But then again, it's going back to the philosophy of good versus great. It's a good card, but there are just better cards. And that's how literally all of U150 works. And he's just going to go off here. Like, he's got this goop. He's going to blow up the only attacker I have. I can't remember if he takes a prize. Did he take a prize? I didn't see him take a prize. But, I mean, there's nothing I can do, right? Like, he gooped. I'm going to Gust of Wind the Claydol. I can't remember why I did that. I think I was going for Blacksmith or something. That's not Blacksmith. I don't even know what card that is. It must be Rose. It can't be Rosie's. Oh, no. That's, oh, it's the supporter that searches for 2. But anyways, no, I'm trying to set up a big turn here, right? Like, I gusted and gooped to try to pin him in the active, and then next turn I'm gonna, Blacksmith so I can do 80 and accelerate. And hopefully pin this Claydol and try to kill it, but he's got the switch ready to go. And I gooped him after the Oracle. Like, he Oracled, put 2 cards on the top, and didn't draw them last turn, so I prevented him from doing that for 1 turn, but I don't know. Redneck's kind of on the wall at this point. I had this cool Blacksmith I can do, but there's just no way to draw cards. Like, I'm gonna do this, and then what, accelerate to the Vaporeon here? Like, there's just not a whole lot of nothing going on. I think this Unifiner goes for Oak. Yeah, it definitely goes for an Oak. At least I got the Eevee to accelerate to, which is nice. But there's no... Is there a Flareon? Yeah, it's like I think it's the... I don't know, I don't like this Flareon much. It does like 30, and then the second one does like 90, and discard energy attached to your active and your bench. Like, your active and their active, sorry. But I would really much like the Revenge one here, instead of this guy. But he's just going to start plowing through stuff, right? Like, it's... I think I'm counting, like, I still have 6 prizes left, and he's got, what, 3, I think? Because he's just been taking knockouts every turn, and I've been just, like, trying to get set up. And my setup takes, like, an extra turn or 3 to get set up. Ah, man, see, and he's just got, look at all that energy on the side of the field. Like, look at him just, like, destroy everything I've ever worked for. And the super energy removal, like, takes this acceleration that I worked for. He's going to retreat and just blow me up, and he's got this Raikou waiting. It's a whole lot of bad news. I think this matchup is just really swayed, and I want to go back and look at Arcanine. Because I don't mind it. I just think that there's other better things. So, the game's close to an end. I think I attack here, and pretty soon he's going to end me, and I'm going to scoop. So, closing thoughts on the deck. I think it was just a very suboptimally built deck. It still can't hang with like the best decks in this format. But I do want to make it better, because I do like the concept of Arcanine. And then also send me your ideas, like, or not ideas, but deck lists, and I might do like a live, like, hey, here's this person that submitted this deck list, and here's how we can make it better, sort of thing. So, be on the lookout for that, I guess. We're gonna go ahead and I gotta get another Arcanine set up, but we're just like so far behind at this point that I'm literally just gonna like burn them, right? I think, oh yeah, I flipped for burn, and I even missed the burn flip just to add insult to injury. It's not like new burn rules where I just get it. Here's this attached retreat. He's gonna verse Seeker for Fisherman, sorry. and just like look at all that. You know, how am I supposed to deal with that? I think another attachment comes down, and then he's gonna end me, and then I'm gonna scoop. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna just end it early. I'll probably post another video tomorrow, next day. Thanks for watching.